Hello guys, you're welcome back. Thank you for all those watching. Thank you for those who liking videos, subscribers. Thank you. If you've not subscribed to this channel, I just want you to do three things right away before you continue, please. If you've not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. That's your own way of supporting me. That's also a way of motivating me to make more videos, because that makes me understand that a lot of people these videos are helping. It takes a lot of time for me to sit down to record these videos, and I really wish to see most of you succeed. For those who are genuinely watching and those commenting, those sending out requests, those are motivations for me, and that makes me want to do more whenever I have the chance to. So please subscribe, and when you watch a video, like the video. If you have any comments, feedback, leave it in the comment section. And also, very importantly, if you find the videos very useful, you share it with your friends, share it with your classmates, share it with people around you that you feel these videos will be helpful to. That's the point, for these videos to be helpful to many people as possible. So thank you for doing that. Thank you. And I noticed some people recently wrote their IGCSE practical exams in the past 2 weeks. So let me know also in the comment section, how did that go? I hope everything went well. But even if things did not go as you planned, I believe you still have a chance to redeem your grades, to fix things. So let's focus on the paper one, which is what we'll be doing for the next couple of weeks, doing a lot of revision on paper one, but I'll focus more on the 2025 papers. I noticed some changes in wordings and here and that, but honestly, I can tell you the questions are still the same type of questions from the same chapters. They just change the words and all those things. So just answer as many questions as you can, and try my best also to support with video tutorials that can aid. And the way I try to approach these paper ones is, I typically don't like doing paper one videos because it's like I'm feeding you with answers, but I try to approach it by trying by explaining the question in a way you understand why the answer is this and not that, and then I even explain to you why the alternative is not good enough to be the to or to suffice for that specific question. So this is May, it's like the May June 2025 session, a similar type of paper some people will be seeing in the next week, or in the next I think in May. Some people will see in the next few weeks for their paper one. So pay attention, watch, and we'll try to explain. As always, the very first question is always very easy, and this is just a question to warm you up. This is a question I always say nobody should fail this. You are not allowed to fail this question. So let me get a pen. I'm gonna use the I'll use probably the red pen. This is got two output devices. Now, revision time. What is an output device? Something that helps you to send information out of a computer. Something that helps you to do things out of the computer. So you use the computer to do things out of the computer. This is me using a layman's language, or me explaining this to maybe a 5-year-old. Now, within this device is an actuator. Very importantly, you need to understand what an actuator is. You need to know what a Blu-ray disc is. You need to know what the cloud is. You need to know what a keyboard is. You need to know what the hard disk. You know what. So if you do guesswork, you might get the answers correct, and you also might fail them, because you need to understand exactly what each thing is. An actuator, it's something out of your computer, but you need a computer to control or to activate an actuator. So an actuator is actually an output device. So if I have like a motor, or I have a fan being controlled by a computer, there will be an actuator. The actuator will probably be the motor that I'm controlling using the computer. So this is an output device. Then, so because it's getting a computer signal and converting it to what into an output. Then a Blu-ray disc, we all know it's a storage device. The cloud storage, keyboard input, hard disk storage, printer output, SD card storage, webcam input. So these are our answers. As I said, very important. Try to understand what you're looking for, and you can always do, if you don't know exactly what something means, go through elimination, eliminate what you know, and then whatever is left will probably be your answer. But I don't want you to be in that situation. Understand? Next question. A computer system processes data by using what? Application software and system software. We've talked a lot about this. Chapter 1, types and components of a computer system. You look at different components of a computer system, you get into softwares and all those things. Now, they say describe the following types of application software. What processor? This is what I have to type. Now, what is a word processor? An example, simple, Microsoft Word. As an ICT student, you should already know what you can do with Microsoft Word. Very first thing is allows you to what? I would say allows you text editing, right? It allows text editing, right? Or it allows you to edit text. It's a text editor. You can use it to write. I'll go to the next thing. What we need 2 answers, so it's 2 marks. So you are given 2 points. They say when they say describe in ICT, it means you should give short answers, short, concise answers. You don't need to talk too much gibberish. You might end up messing things up for yourselves. Then the next thing, you also want to know, typically for you to do text editing, it means it must allows users to what? To type, right? To type text. So it allows you to type text. Like what I'm using is not exactly a text editor, but it's a PDF sort of. But a typical text editor is Microsoft Word. What other things does it do? I'm just giving you a bonus. It allows storage. You can store files, sort of. Yes, you can. It stores your files. You can yeah, it allows text storage. So when you type something, it stays there. Like what I'm typing now is staying because it's yeah, we're editing. You can also say it allows text, allows you to print text, right? So these are different options you can look at. Any 2 of these should be good. And then they talk about control software. This is a little bit interesting area. Control software. Typically control, what do you do with things control software? I guess this is a new name or something of calling uh, sort of application software. Application control software typically should help you to manage. Yeah, it should help you to manage. Uh, it should help you to manage your computer. Control, so it helps to control the computer. So don't use the same. It helps to control the computer. You can use it, but benefit at times it's nice to use synonyms of the word. Or you can write software that helps manage the computer, right? Computer programs, and maybe you can say hardware. Yeah, typically softwares are used to control hardware. You can also talk about when you talk about control software, things you can use, maybe like a simple one. Some of these things like you should change your screen savers and all those things. Some of them are sort of control softwares, so they can help you to yeah, they are kind of automatic. Yeah, they are automatic. Yeah, automatic software for system control. Um, just describing. Do we have any other point? Well, that's what I can think of for these two guys. Now when we talk about apps, applet, yeah, these are side of application software. So they allow you to do specific tasks. Most of them actually. Yeah, all of them are actually application software. So specific. So yeah, thinking of if this is an so it can. No, let me leave it at that. Let me go to this. For the apps can help you do like small specific tasks, right? Yeah, allows you to perform specific tasks. Yeah, if you like, you can also say they are actually small softwares, small programs, specific applications. You can, yeah, if you want to be very specific with your answer, you can go ahead and say that software for specific applications. Um, Data can be in two forms, analog or digital. Explain why analog data needs to be converted to digital data. An obvious question, still chapter 1. Why do I need to convert? For instance, right now I'm speaking. My voice or the sound I'm making is analog. So for the computer to understand it, this my voice goes through a microphone. The microphone has an analog to digital converter depending on whether it's directly on your computer or it's an external microphone. That analog to digital converter converts my voice into a digital format. And the reason is simple, the computer only understands digital. So, one reason, the computer only understands digital data, right? Next point you can give is so that, yeah, it so that the analog the computer can read and process the data, yeah. So simple reason, computer only understands digital data, and for it to understand that digital data, it has to read and process that data. So actually, I should have this first point could come, but it doesn't really matter. It's just you describing why you need to. So one of these 2 points is very correct, and you should always lie on this. You'll never go wrong with that. Now they say explain why digital data needs to be converted to analog data. Very good. As I'm speaking, you're probably listening to me through a through a speaker. A speaker is an output device. Definitely, it outputs my voice or whatever voice you're hearing. But then that is analog. Now you need an analog or a digital to analog converter. So why is that necessary? That's the question. Why is that necessary? Yeah, I mean, it could be one of many reasons. It's so that user or you, whoever it is, users can what understand users can understand analog, analog data. Yeah, that's one thing you can analyze. And if I write ones and zeros here, you will not make any sense of it, because whatever I type here is encoded into ones and zeros. So you as a user, you only understand analog data. And then one other reason you could give is so that uh, it can be used, the data can be used to control analog devices. Yeah, like the actuator we talked about in the first question. You can only control an actuator when you've converted the data into an analog data format. Without that, you cannot control the actuator. So it could be one of these two answers and many others. Just think about it in that direction. Now they say evaluate the use of smartphones for making video calls. This is interesting. Why I'm saying it's interesting is because of this word, the choice of what. I'm recently coming across this in recent papers. This word after that, at times they'll say compare and contrast, or they'll say discuss the use of smartphones for making video calls. Typically, these are just synonymous words. Yeah. So let me see. Maybe it's not necessary anyway. I wanted to just look up synonyms, but I don't think it's necessary. Let's not worry about that. Yeah, so typically if they say you should, I'm just gonna close that. If they say evaluate the use of smartphones for making video calls, now it's very important for you to understand the meaning of evaluate. It could be say compare and contrast. It could be discuss. Once they say discuss, it means you can, if I say we should discuss about something, I can be saying things for that thing and you can be saying things against that thing. If I say we should evaluate a system, let's evaluate maybe a computer. I can be like, oh, this computer is really bad, I don't like it. Then you'll be like, oh, I like the computer because it's dark. So that's, we are evaluating the computer. That's basically what they're asking you to do in this question. I don't know if that, that should make things easier for you. So the first thing you want to do is you have 6 marks. Definitely you have to give 6 points. And if you're evaluating, you have to give points for like advantages, and then you have to give against disadvantages. You try to find a balance. If there's 6, you can give 4 points for, or 4 points against, and then 2 points for. So always try not to give too much on one side. That is always allowed for most exams. You can give 4 points for and 4 against. In some cases, maybe they will allow you to give 5 for and 5 against. So I'll go for, I usually like to look at things from the good side, I'll go for the 4, or you can call it advantages of doing, you can call it advantage of using smartphones for making video calls. One very common example, advantage, they are portable. Don't ever forget that. Easy mark. Smartphones are portable, right? Yeah, you can also talk about calls are more secured. Yes, that's my next point. What point do I have again? A smartphone. Why would I want to use a smartphone, or what is important to make video calls on a smartphone? Yeah, you can have even group calls. Yeah, you can have group. I think we're talking about video calls. You can have group video call. You can have group video. You can call it conference calls. Anyone is correct. So these are some of the advantages. Then I'm gonna go for, how many have I given? 1, 2, 3. Let me look for another point I think about. Oh, very important thing. They have an inbuilt, I'll call it inbuilt microphone, camera, and speaker, so no need for external, or I'll just say additional devices. Yeah, very important point. Yeah, I think this can do the trick. Yeah, this can definitely do the trick for you. And I'm gonna try to think about some other points. Why will I not want to use a smartphone? You need reliable, a reliable internet connection. Remember, whenever I have to deal with the internet, your internet connection must always be reliable, right? Um, Next point, if I need a reliable internet connection, mm, yeah, you might, you might experience lagging. Yeah, I'll call it video lagging. I hope you know what video lagging is. Due to poor internet connection. Yeah, don't be afraid. These are two different points and they're very correct. So they stand on their own. Um, yeah, the small size, why they are portable, that's also a downside. Me making a call on a computer might be better than you doing it on a phone. The small size can make viewing people more difficult. Yeah, I'll give it more than 6 points. One bonus point. Um, the speaker, or let me say the microphone, could be faulty. Speaker, the microphone, let me just put microphone slash speaker, could be faulty. So imagine you don't have earpiece or headsets and then you are using everything directly, it could be faulty. So and once it's faulty, you're in trouble. So difficult. Yeah, I think we have a bunch of points. So I can say disadvantages. You want to call it against or whatever. Let me change the color to red. Yeah. Next, they say computer software needs to be tested with normal, extreme, and abnormal data before it can be implemented. The question they're asking you is, explain what is meant by extreme test data. First of all, the first important thing, understand what is normal data, what is extreme, what is abnormal. I'm going to start from here. Normal data, like I said, I think I've talked about this in previous videos. If we want to do like a test, practical example, if you're an IGCSE candidate, you have the right to take the exam. So anyway, I guess that example is not gonna work as I want it to. So let me say we want to test, or it's recommended that you should be, let's say, 15 years, or let's say 15, maybe more, 14 years before you take the IGCSE exam. So let's say 14 to, they want people from 14 to, let's say, 18 years. Now somebody coming from within this age range, somebody 14, 15, 16, 17, it's okay, that's normal data. When we talk about extreme data now is somebody who is 14 years or somebody who is 17 years, because they are at the boundaries. That's why they call it extreme. Extreme means boundary. And then abnormal is somebody out of this age range. So somebody who is 1 year, a baby coming to take the IGCSE, or somebody who is 90 years coming to take the IGCSE will be like, what? isn't this a grandpa or a grandma coming to take the IGCSE? So that's abnormal. So abnormal data. So some of these things very practical, real life application. So once you understand things like this, they can never come out of your head. So let's go to, they say explain what is meant by extreme test data. I've already given those examples. So just test, this is test data at the boundaries of of the I'll call it acceptable test range, yeah, or acceptable range, whichever way. Okay, I didn't spell that well. Yeah, it's 1 mark, that is fine, that's just correct, no need to worry about that. Oh, this is continuation. Okay, an input into the software is an integer. Now, very important. Application theory, you have to understand. If you understood what I explained here, answering this question is going to be very simple from what I see. An input into the software is what? An integer. What is an integer? A whole number, right? Between 1 and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1.1, 1.2, I don't know. Wrong. The software uses what? A range check to test this value as it is entered. State one piece of test data from each of the following that will be used to test the range check if the range check is working correctly. Now they say normal test data. So what is normal test data? They say the integer between 1 to 10. Normal test data is what? Any number between 1 to 10, right? Let me type it. Any number between 1 to 10. No, I don't need that again. I don't like this. Okay. I don't. Oh, when did I transition to another color? Then extreme, like I said, extreme boundaries. Extreme can be 1 or 10. Those are the extremes. It can be one of these. You don't need to write 1 or 10. Just write 1. That's extreme. Or just write 10. That's extreme. So be careful. I'm just writing these are the two options. In fact, let me write it this way so that people don't get confused. 1 or 10. So any of these two is correct. Abnormal, outside. Abnormal, outside. When you're doing something people think is not normal, they say yeah, abnormal behavior. So abnormal test data. So abnormal is outside. So I can say 0.5 or 0.3 minus 1 million. So all of this, or 1,000, whatever I wrote there, you know, you can read that number. That's 10,000. So that's abnormal test data. Now question 5 says viewers can watch movies by video streaming. Interesting. Very thing. A lot of people Netflixing, YouTube. What you're doing right now might be video streaming. Unless you downloaded this video, your video streaming. One of the issues with video streaming can be reduction in quality due to the file compression. Yeah, when I record a video, I upload it, there's some level of file compression that takes place at times. They reduce it because they need to store that video on a server, and to store it on a server they need to do a little bit of compression to reduce the size of the video so that they can store it. And you don't want to take a 1 gigabyte video and you store it as 1 gigabyte. At times they reduce it to somewhere a few maybe hundreds of megabytes, just somewhere, yeah, a few hundreds of megabytes. So that saves the up space. That's the essence. And once that is happening, at times the video quality reduces because they compress, they encrypt the file in a different way. So that could be an issue. Now they said discuss the use of video streaming to watch movies. The other question they said evaluate. This one they say what? Discuss. I want you to be taking note of these words being used interchangeably. They mean the same thing. Okay, they kind of mean the same thing. Benefits, advantages, or you argue for and against, or drawbacks, importance, the yeah, just whatever way you want to put it. So they kind of want you to just sort of comparing the two things. Now, the use of video streaming to watch movies, I'm gonna start with what are the good sides of it, or what are the things for, or the benefits, or I can call it I like advantages. Um, okay, what are the advantages of video streaming? You can, for instance, what's the advantage of you streaming this video right now at this point in time, watching it directly? What's an advantage of you streaming this video now? You don't need to download it to your computer, right? That's a video an advantage. Yeah, so imagine you don't have storage space in your computer, so viewing this video without downloading it saves space for you. Very big advantage. Next advantage, so it gives you more alternatives. At time when you're watching a video, some suggestions will come, or you get more like ads and all those things. You can, in fact, some of them are actually distractions. And yeah, so it allows the user to have many uh, up-to-date options to stream. It could be movies, it could be tutorials, it could be a lot of things. So if you like, call it, oh, it's movies. Okay, let's be specific. Up-to-date movies. Let me not put options because that's specific. Okay, so please pay attention to some of these things. It's good we are doing a revision, so that we make the mistakes here. So allows the user to have many up. Yeah, I'll just write more up-to-date movies to stream. Another advantage, 6 marks, so we can give 3 3 or 4 3 or 5. Yeah, 4 3 might be good. 5 3, I think 5 1 is usually also acceptable in some cases. So and then you can have more options to choose from. Yeah, these are independent points. You might think they are the same, but the fact that now this is the done having them in physical. Yeah, this is what actually changes it. So you have more options to choose from than having them in a physical disc. So when you have your movies or your videos on a physical disc, that's only what you can watch at that time. But if you have it online, if you start a video and the video is not the way what you want, you look for the next, you look for the next, you look for the next. That's how it goes. So that's what this point basically means. And I will just also add that you can stream from anywhere. Yeah, very important. Because right now you're watching videos from a different direction. That's also a very important thing. Advantage. How do I put that? Yeah, this. The user can stream movies from any location. Yeah, so that's a very big benefit. The fact that somebody can be in another place or another country and record videos and you stream them directly, or you yeah. Disadvantages or drawbacks, whatever you want to call it, or pros and cons, whatever you want to call it. um, One important one is like we said before, you need or let me not say you need, user needs a reliable internet connection. Yeah, very important point. Next point, you also need reliable, your internet can be reliable but not fast. Yeah, user needs a fast, a very fast internet connection. Those are two different points, they don't mean the same thing. Something can be reliable but not necessarily as fast as it should be. That's the way I look at it. In some cases, user might need to pay a monthly fee or subscription. For those of you who have Netflix, some of people, I don't know, those who have YouTube Premium and all those things, but most of these things you have to subscribe. So that's a drawback. You know, we like free things. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, like this video. Nobody's being charged to watch it, so it's free. Yeah, videos may lag. Yeah, you see, so these computers are getting smart. They even knew what I wanted to write before I finished. Movies may lag if internet connection is slow. That's correct. So I've given more points than you need. Pick the ones that work for you and stay with that. Now they say explain what is meant by file compression. I talked a lot about file compression when I was discussing this, so somehow I've answered this question. So at times, one way I want you to look at questions is when you read a question, spend some time to think about and like think ahead of the question. That will even help you to get answers for questions you've not even seen, so it helps. But don't spend too much time because you don't have all the time in the world to answer all these questions. Now they say explain what is meant by file compression. What does it mean? Simple. You're reducing a file, right? Why keeping it correct? Or I think the right word is you maintain the integrity of the file. So if you're reducing a file from, let's say, 10 megabytes to 5 megabytes, you have to make sure the quality of that, if it's a video, the quality of the video and all its content is maintained to at least a high degree, even though it might reduce. So that is a simple thing you can, simple way you can describe file compression. So I'm just gonna, it's a process, you know. So the process of reducing a file size while maintaining its properties. Is properties the right word? Or integrity might be actually the very correct and proper word, but properties like the quality and well, so 3 marks. Okay, we have more room to explain ourselves. Uh, very important thing. The only main, as I explained earlier, the main reason why we compress files is to make it to save storage space. So it creates a smaller file for storage. What did I do wrong here? Why am I spelling so? Integrity does not have R for computer or hard drive, whatever you want to call it, computer storage. Next thing I want to write is, after create file compression. Yeah, so one major reason for compression is, one, you want to, the main process is for you to reduce the size of the file load. Why? Secondly, you want to save storage space, and lastly, or another important aspect is that file you want to transfer it much faster. Yeah, or faster, quicker, much easier, whichever way you want to call it. So those are 3 points. Is there any other thing we can think of? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think that should be fine. I always like to give extra points, but nothing comes to mind for that one. Uh, 6. They say many taxis now use satellite navigation system. Evaluate the use of satellite navigation systems for taxis. Okay, interesting question. Yeah, like I always say, ICT is very, the Cambridge IGCSE ICT is very important because it's application inclined, so real life application inclined. If you live in the modern world, you'll notice a lot of taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and whatever form of um, taxi system you have in your country. They use navigation maps. They go to places they've never been to because they have navigation systems helping them. So they say evaluate the same type of what we saw before. So we are discussing. We'll go for benefits. Um, the first benefit. Why is it still messing with me? The first benefit I can think of is, let me see. The first benefit I can think of, what are the benefits of using a satellite? It provides the user with real time directions. So the problem is, a satellite will give you real time direction. Yes, a satellite will give you real time directions for navigation. Yes, so you're navigating, or you're going somewhere. That's one. Yes. Oh, yeah. So you can also say, yeah, it provides the user with fastest route, or you call it directions. You can think about, you can easily redirect the user in case of roadblocks. For instance, if they block a road somewhere, what is this? If they block a road somewhere, the map, if you use the usual maybe Google Map, some of them, if it's not up to date, you might not know that there's a roadblock. But the satellites constantly revolve around the Earth. So some of these things they are able to pick it up in a very few minutes or seconds, depending on the location and time. So this is a very good advantage. It can redirect you or reroute you in case of problems. Another important things, drivers, or you can call it users, don't need to memorize routes. Yeah, when I drive around, the places I've been to like more than 20 times, but always I'll still put it on the map because I don't want like, oh, I have to turn here. Oh no, I just put it on the map. It's like go turn right in 100 feet, turn left. So yeah, you just don't need to memorize. Don't need to memorize anything. So that's a very important advantage. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna give you another point. Yeah, it tells the driver the ETA, exact time of arrival. And it can even tell in some cases it can tell you the cost, but I don't really think that is a global thing. So let's give some points against just to balance things out. I've given how many points here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So typically 1 point here will make things good for you, but I'm gonna give you like 3 points. Let's see, what are some of the drawbacks? It is dangerous, yeah, to operate the system while driving. So never do that. Never try to be changing your location, whatever you're going. Do it before you start off. It's dangerous. People have gotten into accidents because they're trying to navigate while driving. Try to change the system. So not a problem. Very important. It requires reliable internet connection. Yeah, if you are not connected to the internet, problem. Or you need to download. Yeah, you have to have real-time maps or very updated maps. If not, you get into problems. Yeah, and the possibilities. Drivers can lose the signal in some places. Yeah, if you go through like a forest, let's say you go through an area where there are a lot of trees blocking the road, things might be happening you will not see. Yeah, forest or tall buildings. Yeah, there are places where tall buildings are literally blocking the road. Block you can, they will make you not to see very well. Yeah, so there are a lot more options, so that we don't spend so much time. Now they say explain giving. Yeah. Now they say explain. Let me just change this to red. They say explain giving examples the purpose of corporate house ties. Interesting. This is a practical type question. So anybody interested in practical type question, this is one of such questions. Very tricky question, I would say. Explain giving example the purpose of corporate house ties. So we have corporate. When they say you work in the corporate world, I don't know if you've ever heard of that word. Corporate. It means company. It could mean you work for a business. You could, yeah, very often it goes for business, it goes for company, corporate. So that can help you even get your answer. They say you should explain the purpose of giving example the purpose of corporate house tie. So when they take a corporate house tie, it's just a set of rules for I'll say a set. Let me use blue. Yeah, I'll say a set of rules for producing company documents. Yeah, I'll just say something like that. It's 4 marks, man. We have more to write. Uh, so yeah, this, I'll say these rules give company, or if you like, you call it business document, a consistent format. And yeah, that has just triggered my brain now. It gives company meant a consistent the purpose of and give examples. Okay, this rules gives company, okay, explanation, that 4 marks. So examples of corporate house tie. Let me give some examples. Or what should I describe more? So okay, let me give you one. It is a form of company branding. Yeah, so you see every company document has a logo at the top, or at the top, or it has a full header with the logo, company name, or at times they have it top and bottom, or at the corner of the page, then the right on the side. So that's branding, some form of branding, and it gives it more credibility too. uh, and credibility. So these are good points. Examples, I would say, in a typical house, corporate house tie, you have consistent, like I said before, consistent from a consistent font size. That's an example. Consistent font type, or let me say use of. That's an example. Consistent font size, use of consistent font type. Those are that you will see in how corporate house ties. Use of maybe consistent colors. Different companies have their different color schemes, different type of colors they use for their product and all those things. Like I was talking about, logo consistently placed or in same position. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, these are things that this generally what they're asking from you, and they should give you more than 4 marks. Now the state the method of implementation from the following description. The old system, okay, and the new system run together until the whole of the new system is implemented. This is chapter 6, right? System development life cycle, and then the stages. So implementation stage, if you have old system and new system, if they're running together, what do these things? These are two parallel lines, right? So this is a parallel. This is a parallel parallel system. This is a new system implemented one branch at a time. One branch at a time. One branch at a time. How do we call that? One branch at a time. You do a branch there, finish. Do a branch there. Piloting or pilot system. The new system implemented one process at a time. One process at a time. So you're doing it in phases. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Yeah, phase put it past tense because it's implemented and operated, phased. Yeah, that is it. Pilot, one branch at a time, phased, process at a time, one process at a time. Now A local area network. Question 9 uses a hub. Explain the purpose of a hub. I always say, I used to tell my student, a hub is dumb. Just means it cannot distinguish whether a message goes to everybody or just to one person. I don't know. That always pops up in my brain. But this is explain the purpose of a hub. So we have to describe the hub and maybe give some of its properties. But generally, I would say a hub is used to extend a local area network to many more computers. You could say it acts like a repeater. It can amplify your signal. If your signal is getting weak, you just use a hub and it will blow it up. And yeah, okay. I'll start with the dumb aspect. So a hub broadcasts data. What did it explain the purpose of a hub? Oh, a pop. What am I even writing here? Broadcast data to all devices, or you can call it all computers connected to it. Yeah. Connected to it, not network. I think that autocorrect is not good. Then I mentioned something. A hub. What am I saying? A hub acts as a repeater. Amplifying, or you can simply say amplify. I'm typing faster than I'm right. Amplifying the signal of a local area network. Next point, the remarks. A hub acts as a repeater, amplifies the signal of a local area networks. It extends, yeah, you can say it extends the local area network. And yeah, it helps connect multiple computers together on a network. So basically it helps extend the network. I've actually written that, but multiple computers. So you can send a signal, it reaches somewhere, it says weak, you use a hub to amplify that signal and then connect it to more computers. So those are different points. They say describe one drawback of using a hub on a local area network. What is one drawback? The dumb part of it I said, right? It just broadcasts. If you send, you cannot differentiate between on the network. Yeah, I cannot differentiate between devices on the network. So it broadcasts. I think I even started this way. It broadcasts since it cannot. Yeah. So it broadcasts all messages in a net messages since it it cannot differentiate between computers on the network. So that's the main drawback. You could say, yeah, it can also cause traffic if it's connected to many computers. Yeah, so that's also. Question 10 said, during the analysis of a current system, still chapter 6, I guess, research needs to be carried out. Describe the characteristics of each of the following research methods. So this like the preliminary stages of outfacing an old system to replace it with a new one. Describe the characteristics of each of the following research methods. Observation. So what are the characteristics of a typical observation? How do you observe an old system? So you watching people use the system. As a system analyst, you watch people or slash operate the system, right? You have to, yeah, you should be specific, the old system or current system, whatever you want to call it, to see how it works. From that you can make decisions to say that, oh, this thing might not be working well, and the problems. Yeah, you can check yeah, that will help you to know the problems of the system. Observation, one other thing that also allows, yeah, every system has input, output. Every system has input, processes, and output. So it allows the analyst, I'll call it analyst, to see. Why am I even worrying myself? Yeah, watching of input, processes, and output of the old system. So that is, these are two important aspects. Let me take this guy down again. I don't like where you are. Yeah, interviews. So how do you gather information through interviews? Face to face, right? Face to face conversations, right? With users. Interviews, so allows the analyst to directly ask questions and find information. Specific areas. Yeah, so it will allow you, the analyst, to find specific information about specific areas by asking questions. And one very important thing too is, when you ask questions, from the answers to, you can know if somebody's lying, if you know what you're looking for. Yeah, analysts can also judge answers to know the right and wrong answers. Yeah, thank you for that autocorrect. Following the analysis, design of the new system will take place. Yes, that's correct. Identify 4 items that need to be produced as part of the design of the new system. So before, as you're designing your new system, what are 4 items that need to be produced as part of the new system? When you have a new system, what are things you need to produce for other people to be able to use that system? Or yeah, something like that. Now, typically we think about it, you should think about input format, how to output format, very easy answers to think about. Processes, you can think about processes to be um, run. You can think about, very important, the validation routines, because if I put an input, it has to go through some validation, extreme, abnormal, those kind of test conditions before it's approved that, oh, this is correct, go ahead. You can also design algorithms. How did I spell algorithms again? Yeah, I think that should be correct. You can do flowcharts. Yeah, so all of this is just to help the users understand what the system is meant to do and the best way it should. If you remember during the lecture, there is also screen print out format. Yeah, so some systems are specific. Yeah, there are a lot of other things. These are just a few. There are a lot of other things you can think of. If you go to chapter 6, you'll see a lot more things. Now, the CCA, following the implementation of the new system, it needs to be tested. Explain why the new system needs to be tested. Why will you implement something? I want to test. Why will you cook food and you want to test it? You want to be sure the food is tasty, right? Okay, just joking there. But why will you want to test the new system? Very important thing you need to know. Yeah, to know what am I system meets the requirements, also required standards, right? Yeah, you're making a system for somebody, so you should meet the standards or the requirements of that person, company, client, whatever you want to call it. Remove any system errors that to check and remove. Let me put it that way. To check and remove any system errors. That's very important point. Last point, you want to also check the inputs and outputs. The use of correct input and produces if the system accept the right, yeah, put the right input and produces correct output. Perfect. Just making sure everything is in order. Okay, let me just do that. That's 3 points. Is there any point I can think of? Yeah, typically most system. How is it anything about software? Yeah, to check if the system software and application software, depending on what kind of system you have, work properly. Yeah, I think I'm making a mistake here. I'll just put software. Sometimes you write certain things and it's like shooting yourself on the leg. So I'm just going to write check if the softwares work properly, because if it's a system that is just controlling actuators, you need application softwares and all those things. So this should be fine. Now they say a test plan includes expected outcomes of a test. Write down 3 other elements found in a test. Expected outcomes in a test. Yes. What will I want again in my test? Outcome is like output. What about my input? Yeah, test data or input. What again will I need? The processes, right? Let me see something. Write down 3 other elements found in a test plan. Test data. Yes. The why am I doing the test? Okay, the reason for the test should be part of the plan, right? Why are you doing the test? And then the actual, because there they talk about expected outcome, then actual outcomes, and you can talk about um, expected outcome, actual outcome, remedies for the test. So if something goes wrong, how do you remedy that? How do you solve that? You can include that in your test plan. A student is typing a report for his biology coursework and needs to check his spelling for errors. The student could use spell check software. Explain how the spell check software work. Grammarly, I don't know if anybody else use Grammarly, or like there's a spell check software. Somehow spell check, this Microsoft Edge has some spell checker. If I write something like this, you see, that thing is automatically working. So it's not finding this in its dictionary. That's why it's underlining it as red. So I'll just write as I describe this skin. So how does explain how the spell check software? Okay, scan it, scans the document. That's typically what it does. If you are working with a document, um, yeah, typically it should scan your document, then it compares the words each, or it compares each word with its, is it database or dictionary, with its dictionary. If yeah, if the word, I'm writing this like I'm writing a program. Typically that's how you should describe things. If the word is correct, it skips it to the next. If the word is wrong, it highlights it. Oh, let me see. I can say the wrong word. Wrong word. Highlighted. Let me just write that. Good. Something like that. Two of them should be good for you. They say explain why this could have occurred. Sometimes the spell check software highlights what or changes what which are correctly spelled. Explain why this could could have occurred. Let me give you a perfect example. Look at this, color and color. Do you know the difference? Color, color. This is currently my keyboard is in the US, so this is acceptable. For those in the UK, this is acceptable. So this is the difference, but they are perfectly correct. And the reason is simple. The dictionary does not have that, or it's because that's the keyboard I've set, or the setting I've set for my computer. So it's just an issue of the word does not appear in the dictionary of the spell checker. Yeah, that's the simple reason. Oh, you see, I even made a mistake again. Yeah, so that's the simple reason. And you could also what could be other reasons? The what could be somebody's name. Yeah, if I type my name here, for instance, see, oh, it did not underline it because it's let me see. Oh, because this is my computer. Let me see something. Oh, it doesn't, because probably, yeah, this is my computer. By now it's used to my name. Okay, let me try something. Typical. Let me try something. Yeah, more all my names it recognizes any name. Let me try a Chinese name. Good. Kim is a Chinese name, so it's probably not in this dictionary. So that's it. It's somebody's name. So that could be another reason. Yeah, it could be a country, a keyboard preferred, country specific, language preference. Yeah, like what I showed, the color and the color. Yeah, it's the same word, meaning having the same meaning. That's what I'm trying to say in the last point. When sending email, users should follow netiquette. Explain what is meant by netiquette. Net. Simple. I'm gonna remove the N and I have an answer. Netiquette. What am I writing? Simply internet etiquette. That's funny, right? Netiquette is internet etiquette. Yeah. So just rules on how to use the internet. So it's just the correct, or you can say a proper way of communicating on the online or over the internet, whichever way you want to write it. Yeah, that's what we call internet netiquette. Just proper communication online. It could also mean respecting people, respectful communication over the internet. Yeah, you need just 2 points, so it should be good. Next question. One of the rules of netiquette is to avoid sending the same message repeatedly, as this is considered to be spam. Yeah. Describe, giving an example, 3 other rules used in etiquette. 3 other examples. 3 other examples. Interesting. One other rule. One other rule. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Yeah. Do not abuse others online. Example. Bullying. And use of curse. What am I even writing? Curse words. In messages. Yeah, that's a form of abuse. Rule number 2. What can I think of? Yeah, always check. Is this a rule? Yeah, always check rules. Check. No, let me say always respect other people's privacy. Yeah, always respect people's privacy. It's very important. Respect the privacies of others, they will respect yours. Yeah. How do you respect people's privacy? An example, not asking. Not sending embarrassing messages to people. You're invading people's privacy by trying to embarrass them. What are my spellings? What's wrong with my spelling? Yeah. Rule number 3. Yeah. One thing I'll say: read all your all messages and emails. In fact, why did I even forget? Do not share any personal information online. Sharing, an example is sharing. What am I doing? Sharing your age, address, place of work, school, all of these things. Don't do them. This is how people can easily track you down. Now, describe what is meant by hacking. Hack. This is someone that's hacked into your computer. Unauthorized accessed. What did I write wrong? Z. This is a problem of American English. Unauthorized access to another person's computer / data with the intent to what? Misuse, to steal. Yeah, I would say to steal the data, to steal personal data. Yeah, very important. Last point. That's why people don't hack just to get into your computer and see things there. Very often is to steal something. um, so that's why it's called hacking. And describe what is meant by hacking. When they say describe, you can always describe a thing, give examples or the side effect of that thing. Whenever they say describe something, when you finish describing, don't think you're done. Give the side effect of that thing. Or yeah, side effect. Very always very important. Yeah. So when they hack your computer, what are some things that can happen? They can steal, yeah, personal information can be stolen or deleted. Sorry. The system can be corrupted. Yeah. Some people they will hack you just to corrupt your system. They say one method of preventing a system being hacked is the use of passwords. Describe the password rules that should be put in place to reduce the threat of hacking. Uh, so what are some password rules? We've talked about this. Is chapter 10? Can't quite remember. No, not chapter 10. Now they say use strong password. Yeah, now you have to ask yourself what is a strong password. Mhm. Next, do not use your name or personal information in passwords. Yes, very important. I used to do this a lot. I'll create a password and I'll still use my name. And I was like, well, I have nothing to hide until one day somebody gets into your computer. So always try to use something people cannot easily think about. Some people use, if they have a pet, they'll use the name of their pet as password. That's usually not wise, unless where you don't think there's anything that's worth hiding. Um, you can also use biometrics password. Yeah, your thumb, eyes, and all those things. Those are also options. Um, change your passwords frequently. Also, these are things you can always do. Practice changing change your passwords frequently. Yeah, that helps to preserve your password. Yeah, and then wow, is this the last question? Wow, that's good. Now they say give one example of generic file extension that would be part of the following types of file extension. Oh, okay. We have generic, yeah, good. We have generic file type and non-generic. For images, typically we can have PNG, we can have GIF, we can have GPG, we can have yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, this should be it. PDF is not this sort of image, but let's keep it somewhere here. Any one of those things should be fine. Then TXT, we can add RTF, rich text format. We can have a PDF is text. We can have CSV. Yeah, CSV should be part. And then we can have TXT, like Notepad. So these are generic. Generic simply means you can open it in any. I think I've done chapter 11. Good. A video on that. You can go and watch that video. You see about generic file formats and how useful they are. Typically, it means you can open it in almost anything. You can open the same picture on your phone. You can open it on your computer. You can open it in different computers. You can open it in a MacBook. You can open it in a Windows. That's what makes it generic. Web page, typical CSS, HTML, HTM for the older version. So there you go. That is it for this paper. Next week I'll try to do another paper one. And thank you for watching to this point. Let me know in the comment section, like I said, if you have any comment. And please, if you still not subscribed, do support by subscribing, do support by liking the video, do support by sharing the video with your friends. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.